Time to go racing again at Richmond, finally, after the Olympic break. It's time to get cup racing once again. Here's what I'm following as we head to Richmond. Well, after the break, lots of different things for NASCAR to look at. For one, it's going to be an evening race that's going to happen at Richmond, and that's in the past hasn't been a bad thing. I'm just looking forward to having race cars on the track once again. So that's going to be a really cool thing to watch. I'll talk about the playoffs here in just a minute, although everything seems to be pretty much laid out. Depending on what happens as we get closer towards the end of the season, I think we pretty much know what's going to happen. However, NASCAR has gone in and they made some changes on the wet weather tire situation, which could be an issue this week at Richmond. Hurricane Debbie has been raising all kinds of hell going through there. Tire changes are now permitted. Wets for wets, you can do that. I think that came up at the last time that we had a wet weather issue. Teams will manage how they use their wet tire allotments of the 4 sets. Just a little bit of flexibility right there, which that's not really a bad thing to ask for if you're a race team when it comes to tires. On top of that, this was supposed to be a Hooters race for my man Chase Elliott. However, obviously, Hooters has backed away for whatever reasons of racing. And now Coca-Cola will now be on that race car. That's a pretty good exchange right there. Thinking the stability of Coca-Cola and Coca-Cola being on the car of that dude, pretty good idea right there for Coca-Cola. Sorry, Hooters, but you've been replaced by somebody that's going to carry just a little more clout. And Pitbull has his own stadium. FIU, Florida International. This dude gets naming rights for the stadium. He's going to get suites there. He's going to get 10 dates to do whatever he chooses to do there. How about old Pitbull? There were some questions about him stepping away from Trackhouse Racing. I think that those have been answered by Justin Marks, that he's hanging around. His good friend is hanging around. And now the guy's got naming rights to a college football stadium. All right, so now we're into the nitty-gritty. It's time to start thinking about the playoffs after this time off, and that's what's the really different thing this year, in the sense that you actually have some time off, and this is a good opportunity for somebody to make a big push. Could somebody go in and make a change? Could a team revolutionize themselves coming out of this 2-week Olympic break? Well, I think the first one that's going to come to mind is going to be the 8 RCR team of Kyle Busch, and he happens to be going to Richmond, where is a place that we all know Kyle Busch has had a lot of success. He currently goes into the weekend 112 points behind 16th. So it's going to take a win. I mean, stranger things could happen, but it's going to take a win for him to be able to do that. Here's who's locked in as we head to Richmond. Taking a look at the standings. Kyle Larson has 4 wins. Denny Hamlin has 3. Ryan Blaney, or as does Christopher Bell. Ryan Blaney has 2. Chase Elliott, Tyler Reddick, Brad Keselowski, Bowman, Logano, Suarez, Cindric, those dudes have a win. So they're essentially in. But when you start looking right there, because that puts you 13th, that's 3 spots away from the cutoff right there. Martin Truex, 112 points ahead of 17th, as I mentioned a while ago, which is where Bubba Wallace is. But we'll get to that here in just a second. Ty Gibbs, 46 ahead of 17th. How that guy hasn't won yet, I totally don't understand. I really thought that he would have won by now, but that team has kind of gone backwards a little bit. Chris Buescher had an incredible run last year when he broke off that streak of wins. Mark my words, this could be a Chris Buescher race right here. He's 21 points ahead of 17th. I'm not really concerned about him getting in the playoffs. I think that he's going to, and he still could win if he doesn't win at Richmond. Ross Chastain in 16th, 7 points ahead of 17th. Wherein lies in 17th Bubba Wallace. Chase Briscoe, 83 points behind 16th. And that's where Kyle Busch falls in behind at minus 112. So that's how that all shakes out. Hopefully, I really do hope, for NASCAR purposes, that we do come out of this Olympic break and somebody does have this transformation that may be struggling somewhere below that cutoff line and gets themselves into the playoffs. Because when it comes to chaos, when it comes to throwing this whole point system out of whack, I love it when that happens. And we're about to find out. The race is going to be on USA. There's still Olympics on there today because today's Friday on this revved up update. But come Sunday, it's going to be race time Sunday evening at Richmond. Time to get after it once again. It's been fun for the Olympics, but man, I've missed my racing. Let's turn them loose. Let's drop that rag. Green and going. Let's do it. It's time to go cup racing.